unless it is under your control. And obviously, if something happens, like your dog gets bitten or something, it wasn't under your control. So legally, that falls back on you. Hey, Babe Ross. Pack of German Shepherds they kept caged in their backyard. Go hunting in the neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah. My other thought is like lots of people have dogs that are great off leash and do respond, but if you're not paying attention, like if you're cutting the grass and you can't hear that there are people walking up and you don't know that there are people walking and your dog is going to go run at these other people to say hi, then it shouldn't be out off leash. Like, you don't know my dog. My dog doesn't particularly like getting run up on. Anyway, that's one of my big pet owner pet peeves. Like containing your dog is one thing. Welcome in, Spellbound Wares. Um, Thank you for the follow, by the way. It's one of my pet peeves. Um, like putting a tie out on a dog that is laying out in the yard and 90% of the time isn't going to leave the yard unless there is another person walking with a dog does no harm to the dog. If they're happy to just wander the yard, it does nothing but keep them safe. And like I said, there are lots of dogs that are really good off leash. But if you're not paying attention enough to say, hey, no, come back, for them to listen to you, then it's defeating the purpose, right? Aww. Yeah, Fisher doesn't particularly enjoy getting run up on. Um, like it's not uncommon for him to get kind of scrappy if he's getting charged, which is fair. Like it's kind of rude for dogs to charge at each other that way. So I would rather not have some asshole be like, "Oh, your dog's getting after," and it's just like your dog just ran up on my dog. Of course, Hannah doesn't like it at all. It's just oh, they're friendly. And my number one response to that of somebody like yelling from across their yard that they're friendly is, you don't know that my dogs are. Like, just because your dogs are friendly doesn't mean mine are. Come get your dog. Sorry. This is something that we deal with because we walk every day. We deal with frequently and is something that bothers me a lot. Yeah, mine it is my trap card. Like Fisher's okay with calm dogs. Happy to walk by calm dogs. What are you barking at now? Something over here. Probably a squirrel. I heard fresh pots and have heard fresh pots a couple times now. So I don't know. I don't know why it wouldn't work for Bork.
pots!
Thank you. We had that issue before, didn't we? Don't remember what it was to fix it, though. I know. I feel like half the time it works and half the time it doesn't. All right. Maybe. Anyway. I hear it. Not quite. Fresh pots again. How dare. I'm just trying to push this down a little bit. I want kind of a squattier pumpkin. Hey, Krav. How's them teefers? How's your face? You had your wisdom teeth, right? Or has that not happened yet? No graphic, yeah. Second week of next month. Okay, so a little while. Okay, go for it. That's nicer. I like that little tuck in better. But yeah, I don't know. For me, like, the whole pets thing, like, containing your animal is one of the best ways you can keep them safe. It goes for cats as well. I know that's not always the case with cats, but keeping cats indoors also keeps more birds alive and other creatures. It's not always feasible, but I should say not necessarily indoors, but outdoors and unsupervised. That's a better, because being allowed outdoors and, you know, being supervised keeps them from doing things like murdering everything. let us... So this is the first one we threw earlier today. I can't see chat at all. Could you scooch over a little bit, please? Thank you. In Canada, it's legal for your cat out. Hey, Lusty. I know that there are places where outdoor cats are illegal, just because ecologically they're pretty detrimental. How tacky are we? Damn it. No idea? Yeah, who knows? Hey, Sarah! Yeah, I mean, there are ways that, like, having them wear a bell and stuff like that is majorly helpful. Yeah. But still, damn it. That's gonna leave a bunch of yucky bits. Sarah, didn't you have a wedding coming up or soon or something? Had a wedding? Saturday morning. Well, congratulations. I want my finishing sponge. I'm just going to smooth out sharp spots here. Move everything to OBS. Yeah, one of these days. There are a couple things functionally that I would like to do that I can't do on Streamlabs. But okay, the other thing we're going to do here, put some lines in it, and then we'll curve the I have a larger rib. Maybe I think I have one larger than this. Yeah. Hi, Tudor. Look at that expensive dog. My most expensive dog. Streamer bot for commands macros. He is very expensive. Yeah, very expensive. So he has a heart murmur that is relatively recent, like a grade 3 heart murmur. Not like within the past year. And so we were working that up a bit at the vet yesterday. X-rays. It's likely age related. I mean, he's almost 16. So we're not too worried about it. He had just been, oh, I'm sorry, Zach. I know I've been following some of your stories. Grade 6 is tough. He's grade 3, but so we did radiographs yesterday and sending those to the radiologist. The vet didn't seem, she didn't think it seemed particularly bad right now, which is good. Isn't seeing much in the way of heart enlargement yet, or no fluid or anything like that, but it's something that we wanted to get a good baseline on so that going forward, should any symptoms progress, like we can kind of stay on top of that. But yeah, that was an expensive vet visit. On top of expensive vet visits for him anyway. I mean, he's had, I need more space. He's had both knees replaced. That was a couple years ago. Because he's torn both of his cruciate ligaments, which is one, it's like tearing your ACL, right? So in order to fix that, they basically do surgery that reforms their knee so that they can use it more effectively. So he did one, and then about 6 months later did the other one, plus the rehab on top of all of that. So your boy is expensive. But the vet was really happy with, for 16-year-old dogs, nearly. They turned 16 in October. How good they look. He is. He's got, so they're, unlike Arnie, which comes together, we'll do it over here. Arnie comes together like this, right? So all of, unless you're doing, and then your ACL and kind of crisscrosses underneath that knee to hold it so that you can go this way. And unless you're doing some really like twisting motions, that's usually why athletes tear theirs. They slip and twist, and that's how they tear. So dogs' knees they have more of a tilt to them. So it's not uncommon that they essentially fall off the back of their knee. Generally, so the biggest indicators of whether or not they'll tear their ACL or their cruciate ligament, for young dogs, it's running around being dumb, right? It's the same as an athlete, right? Run and turn too quick, that kind of thing. Genetics are the next one, and then being overweight is the third. Excess weight or excess use certainly will make them more prone to that. His likely genetic, because, and of course, if they tear one, they are 50% more likely to tear the second one. Like and he did. It was almost 6 months to the week that he tore his second one. But he was 14 when he maybe 13 and a half when he did the first one, and the the options are generally, you know, um, he was non-weight bearing on it. Sometimes they partially tear it, and so they only kind of end up with a limp. Um, but he was non-weight bearing, and so your options are you do nothing, which for you do nothing to that I mean you treat the pain, and they just get on with living without use of the limb, really. Which for him just wasn't, to me, wasn't an option. He, even at 13 and a half, for a lot of dogs, that would be like, well, that's it. Um, but he is he's a very active dog. Um, Even at 15, um, that dog lives to go walk, go run around, be outside. And so there are a couple of options as far as after they've torn it. There are some braces that you can use, but the issue with any type of brace, especially when you're putting it on an animal, right, is that if you leave it on too long, um, or if you put it on too tight, like you have all of those issues, right? Right. Oh, he has torn both cruciates, so he's had two um, cranial cruciate ligament repairs. So yeah, they can't tell you when it hurts. They can't, and so braces can be difficult, right? Oh, yeah, he did both. This was 3.5, 4 years ago. Oh no, he didn't make a sound. All of his, he put him down. He went run into the fence. No, no, no leg. Um, but yeah, he's got both knees done. But yeah, so we were yesterday working up the heart issue, the heart murmur. It was expensive. Luckily, he doesn't need any medication for it or anything yet. He doesn't have any fluid or any real symptoms. The reason I took him was because he's been doing a little bit more a dry cough. He's always kind of done this gaggy cough, which I just assumed kind of collapsing trachea, which is pretty common, small dog thing. Um, but he had developed in the past week or so kind of a different type of cough. Um, and I was like, oh, geez, it's his heart, it's his heart. And so we went and did the workup on his heart. And the vet, I haven't heard from the radiologist yet, but the vet, our GP, kind of agreed that um, likely collapsing trachea that's causing the coughing, both the more hacky cough um, and the gaggy cough that I'm used to. Recommends it, yeah. Yeah, he's mostly been fine. Like I said, he's been asymptomatic entirely. Um, Happy to exercise. We go on a mile long walk just about every day that we can. and he's happy to do it, right? No gasping for breath, no coughing that I was overly worried about, except for this newer cough. So I was like, okay, it's time to work up the heart thing. So we did that, and it was a lot of money. Yeah, the fluid buildup is not fun. It's usually what ends up causing a lot of the coughing. They just can't get a breath. Slightly off topic. Have a hole in the bottom to keep it from going boom in the kiln. Amy Jo is correct. There's yet another one of my trap cards. Mwahaha. So, first of all, for these ones, I'm actually going to cut the base off of them. I threw them with a base on them because it means that I can get a nice, even... welcome to Mythbusters. I can get a nice, even, flat base a little bit easier. However, the biggest thing that causes things to go boom in the kiln is moisture, not air. So you can fire completely enclosed pieces as long as they are fully dry. I should say you can fire them in a regular firing. I would not recommend firing them in a raku firing, for example, that heats up very quickly and cools very quickly. Hey, Lizzie. Because then you end up kind of with the soda can experiment from school, if you ever did that, where you have rapid decompression. Iron Chin! Sorry, I'm singing it along with pulling unleashed, now walking in her harness. And she's not unleashed. Yeah, he's been in a harness most of his life because he is a little ding-dong. Iron Chin's the number one, the OG. Iron Chin was my very first subscriber. Happens with melting metal, air pockets with moisture. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing, right? Is that generally if there are air pockets, there is moisture because you can't see that it's not dry there, and it takes a very long time for those air pockets to dry out. So you can, if you're very careful, there are artists that do it. You can throw and fire fully enclosed pieces. You just have to make sure they're completely dried out. This one will be open on the base anyway, so it's not a problem. I'm going to push this a little bit more. I may wait until it's a little bit drier to push it. But what I can do is I want to sink this part down just a little bit. How do you know it's fully dry? That I honestly don't know. I think a lot of it is probably time, experience. I think, opened up a crack right there. Right along that seam, I think we did. Yeah, I think some of it might be a matter of you preheat your kiln, and you put a long candle on it, which is to say you put it at a low enough temperature that it sits there for a few hours in in the heat where